The following is a live sports event featuring the Abernathy Antelopes or Lady Lopes and is under the direction of AA Sports Properties in partnership with Abernathy ISD. This broadcast cannot be reproduced or retransmitted without the written consent of AA Sports Properties. Tonight's broadcast is made possible by the support of our generous sponsors: MC Master Roofing and Construction, South Plains Auto Ranch, First State Bank, Nutrient Ag Solutions, Abernathy First Baptist Church, Storm Guard, Clark Riley Insurance, Able Funeral Home and Flower Shop, Plains Land Bank, JC Refrigeration, Spradlin Spray Service, Vista Bank, Lambert Insurance, The Junkin Farmers Market, Ty Horsford Realtor, and DB Media. Buckle up and enjoy all of the exciting action with the Abernathy Antelopes and Lady Lopes.
How does it do that? And there we are. Good evening, Abernathy, Texas, and good evening, fans of the Abernathy Antelopes and Lady Lopes. Welcome to Outside the Box, episode 17, the first episode of 2025, and for the first time ever, Chance, live on location, as you can see, at the beautiful Abernathy High School Gymnasium here in Abernathy, Texas.
Beautiful Abernathy Gym, beautiful game going on. The JV girls are here in the gym today, and they are putting it on the Tahoka Bulldogs 40-5 tie.
40-5. Looks like this is going to be in the win column tonight for the Abernathy JV Lady Lopes, and that's a good sign. We'll talk a little bit about it. They haven't got to play much lately, as some of the towns they've been supposed to play have not been able to field a JV team. And so I know Coach Rose and company are excited that they're actually getting to play, and they're playing quite well. So bear with us, our new look outside the box, as we will be live on location prior to home basketball games each week. And so hope you'll tune us in about this time, around 5:30, prior to the tip-off of the Abernathy Lady Lopes. And tonight, the opponent for the Lady Lopes and Antelopes will be the Tahoka Bulldogs. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So if you're here for basketball, stick with us, Chance. We will have basketball here in just a little while. But let's kind of start out, I guess, with around AISD, our look around what's going on around Abernathy ISD. Obviously, not a whole lot has been going on.
Christmas break.
As today, school back in session, the first day in about 2.5 weeks, as it's been Christmas break and New Year break. And there has been lots of basketball, though, going on for at least the varsity teams, not as much the sub-varsity teams. And Chance, both the Lady Lopes and Antelopes competed in the prestigious Caprock tournament over the holiday break.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, the only difference in the two is the girls actually played up in the big school class, and that was kind of at the discretion of Coach Mikey. I think he wanted to play up some of that competition, and they still did well. They finished 2-2 in the large school division in the Caprock tournament. They had wins over Lubbock High and El Paso Montwood, and then they had a tough loss to Friendship and El Paso Americas, and so they made it to the third place game, ended up in fourth place in their bracket, and then on top of that, after that tournament, they continued on in district basketball play, Ty. They had big wins over Rawls and Post, and very handily in both of those games.
Yeah, and they were playing district basketball on New Year's Eve day.
Yeah, they were.
And here at the Antelope Gym, got that win over Rawls. As far as the boys concerned, Chance, they also played in the third place game of the small school bracket, and the boys did quite well. They finished the Caprock 3-1. They do earn the third place finish in their bracket, as their lone loss came to a very good Slayton team.
A ranked Slayton team, yeah.
Who went on to actually win the championship in that bracket. But outside of that loss, they had wins over Tulia, Vega, and then they beat Ropes in that third place game. And so successful run for the Antelopes in the Caprock tournament. And they opened district play over the break with back-to-back wins, kind of like the girls in lopsided fashion over Rawls and Post.
Yeah, they opened district play in a very dominant fashion. That's something that I'm sure they were excited about, kind of getting some of those W's under their belt. And then also just kind of finding their new identity in a new look district, dropping down to that 2A, and that confidence has gone a long way. They play very, very fast, and they still don't have their full squad. We haven't seen Colt Micheletti yet, and they did get Dre Minfield back, and so that's helped their game out a lot too, and they're led, as always, by Darian Duval.
Absolutely. And as far as the JV is concerned, Chance, not a whole lot going on over the break. We mentioned the girls have had a hard time finding a team that can field a team to play them in district play with Rawls and Post. And so not much action for the girls, but like we mentioned, they're leading 46-6 as we speak. Behind the scenes here as they scored the first 29 points of the ball game against Tahoka here today. That'll play every time.
Oh, yeah.
And then as far as the JV boys, they opened district play with wins over Rawls and Post as well over the break, and so they're off to a good start in JV district basketball as well. And then, Chance, middle school teams, they did not play. They get the full Christmas break off. I know they had some practices and whatnot, but they're getting ready to gear back up as well.
They are, and all the teams, boys and girls, the 7th and 8th grade both, have been very dominant. I believe the 8th grade girls and the 7th grade girls have lost one game apiece, but it's been a very dominant performance from our sub-varsity, as you would say. They've done very well, especially that 7th grade boys team. They've been putting it on some teams, so they look to be back in action this Thursday, as they will host the Tahoka Bulldogs as well here in Abernathy, and then they travel to Floydada this coming up Monday, January 13th, and so that'll be a fun deal for them to get back in the swing of things. And it seems like basketball is just starting, and it's going to come fast and quick to a close tie for those junior high teams as they'll get ready for track here in a couple months. But it's blowing and going. As soon as school starts back, everything starts back pretty quick.
I was going to say it doesn't feel like track weather outside. It was a balmy 28 degrees today. However, that's about on par for a track meet as well.
For sure. I remember growing up, my sister loved track, and my mom would always say, "Why do we run in the spring? The wind blows, the dirt blows. It may be 30 at night, but 90 during the day." Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? Yeah.
And I asked her, I said, "Well, when else are you going to run it?" She was like, "In the fall when it's nice and cool." It's like, we don't have fall here either, Mom. Come on.
Oh man, so fun times there for the Lady Lopes and Antelopes on the hardwood. And Chance, we're in the midst of a couple of exciting weeks for our FFA and 4-H kiddos, as this last weekend here in Abernathy out at the Ag Barn, you had your local Abernathy stock show. Lots of exhibitors and lots of animals out there this weekend. It was a fun time, really all gearing up for the Hill County show, which will be at the Ollie Liner Center in Plainview this weekend. And then a lot of those kiddos go on to compete at major stock shows like Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston, and the likes. Lots of good memories showing pigs growing up. And we do have some results from those kiddos, as we are going to be able to bring you here this evening the champion and reserve champion of each animal, if you will, of each species. And we'll start with the lamb show, which took place on Saturday morning. Your champion market lamb went to Lake in Curry, and then reserve champion market lamb and also champion market goat, Kellen Hart.
Oh, she double-dipped them there.
She double-dipped. We've got a few of those as you go down the line. And then this is not something, this is new to me, Chance. We did not have this whenever I was around, but in the rabbit show, Junior Lamb and Rabbit Showmanship Award, Bergen Schneers gets honors in both of those. And then the senior lamb showmanship, Kellen Hart as well.
Yeah, Kellen Hart, that's a name that you're probably going to hear a ton in the ag field, just due to, Mom's the principal here, but her dad is very big in that department. We interviewed him earlier this year, and that's one of those things that's definitely important to them, and I'm glad to see some success for her in those shows, Ty. And so moving forward, we had some other champions. Reserve champion for the market for the goat, the sheep award was Shay Molcock. And then the junior goat showmanship reserve champion breeding heifer was Jacob Head. And then the senior goat showmanship was Scotland Bickle. So good for her. And then the champion rabbit and senior showmanship was Aspen Jeter, I believe. Yep. And so a couple of more, and then the reserve champion rabbit was Berkeley Shiners as well.
Yeah, Berkeley getting the reserve champion rabbit. And then a lot of these kids double dipping, but moving to the swine, the pigs, champion market swine, James Barker, and then reserve champion market swine, as well as, and this is skipping ahead a little bit, champion breeding heifer, and junior swine showmanship, Tack holder. So Tack, a very successful weekend for that young man. We interviewed him several weeks back as part of us highlighting 4-H, and then the senior swine showmanship and the Plains Grain Swine Award went to Sydney Miller.
Yeah, congrats to them. And you mentioned at Tack Holder, that Holder family, that's another big family for the 4-H, the FFA department. So I'm sure we'll hear a lot more awards from them as the stock show season continues to chug along. And then for the champion market steer, you had Lane Wolcock. The reserve champion market steer was Doc Chisholm. The junior cattle showmanship was Mr. Drake Warner, another big family in the FFA. And then senior cattle showmanship was Miss Jessie Chisholm. So congrats to those.
And then the Plains Grain Cattle Award went to Justin Head. And then the prestigious Chris Ben Award, which has been around a long time, just honors an FFA or 4-H student that does it all.
Mm-hmm.
And that went to Miss Lane Mulcock. And so congratulations to all of those students. Lots of names, lots of families,
sure.
chants represented. And they represented Abernathy at a very high level, and expect them to be successful going to the county show this coming weekend in Plainview.
Yeah, I bet they will be. And like you said, as you continue on to the Fort Worth, the San Antonios, and the Houston. And, we talked about it, that FFA, that ag, the 4-H group, those kids, responsibility, dedication, commitment, time, effort. It's not just about the showing the animal and showing up on that day. It's just like anything else. If you want to compare it to sports, you got to practice. You got to go out there and put the time and the effort and the work in, raising up those animals and taking care of them and tending to them and things like that. So it's a big commitment. So kudos to those young ladies and gents and everything they're doing for the ag and the FFA.
And I bet we will have some of those results for you from the county show coming up on Outside the Box next week, which will actually be on Friday of next week as a New Deal comes to town.
The Lions.
Basketball. And Chance, ex-Lion yourself.
Hey.
Anyways, but hey, moving on.
I got here as fast as I could.
as we kind of wrap things up just a little bit on an abbreviated edition of Outside the Box here prior to the Lady Lopes taking on Tahoka. Probably for the final time, we're going to chat about Bryson Daly.
You never know.
He's for a while.
for a while, for sure.
A while.
Now the football's over, yeah.
As Bryson Daly, he's been a story around Abernathy all college football season long. He led Army to a historic season at the quarterback position, Chance, and I just know there's lots of Abernathy folks very interested in his journey, have watched him, have supported him, are cheering him on. We interviewed him earlier in the year, and he just racked up all the awards. Army finishing their season 12-2 with a dominant win, 27-6 over Louisiana Tech in the Independence Bowl. I watched a lot of that game, and Bryson just put on a show. Chance, he set all kinds of records for a rushing quarterback.
Yeah, he definitely did, and that 12-2 margin this year for that Army team. I believe, I don't know when the last time they had a 12-win season was, Ty. It's been a while, but that's just kudos to them. But I guarantee you, one of those two losses is probably one that, if you ask Bryson, he would sacrifice and
all
get
the
it
other
back.
wins to beat Navy.
Yeah, to beat Navy. But credit to him, they've beat him the prior 3 years he was there, I believe. And so it's tough for him to go out of the senior season and take a loss to Navy. But I guarantee you, the historic fashion that he had and all the accolades he got maybe softened that blow a little bit. But just to kind of talk about some of that, Ty, he set the single season rushing touchdown record for a quarterback. And that may sound silly. That may sound silly. Yeah, ever. Not just this year, but ever. And that may sound like, they're Army. They run the ball. Well, if they run the ball so much, guess what? Another Army quarterback would be at the top of that list. But, he's not only at the top of the list for quarterbacks with 32 touchdowns. He's actually third all time behind, Barry Sanders and Monte Ball.
That guy, Barry Sanders.
Yeah, just that guy. And so those
How
are
crazy is that for Bryson to even be mentioned in a conversation with the likes of Barry
Yeah,
Sanders.
it is, and he's behind them by one. I believe Barry by 5, and I think Monte Ball has
By
31
one
or 2.
yeah.
But Barry Sanders, I believe, finished with 38 touchdowns in a season. And his season, he won the Heisman that year. And that's why kind of transitioning – that's why Bryson was getting a lot of those Heisman accolades and votes. And, we talked about it throughout the season. If they would have beat Notre Dame and kind of went on a run there, he probably would have been closer to being, in New York for that ceremony. But, it's just hard because they are a smaller school, the competition that they play. But
And he finished 6th in the Heisman voting regardless. If four get invited to New York, but he finished 6th in the voting. That is nothing to hang your head about at all.
Nope. And he had one of the only 2 Army quarterbacks to finish with at least 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 passing yards. He had just over 1,600 rushing yards and just over 1,000 passing yards, and then 9 passing touchdowns as well. And so just represented Abernathy, West Texas, all of Texas. And I think that was the coolest thing when we did the interview with him, that he mentioned, how proud he is to be, Army Black Knight, to play for Army, but he did mention there's nothing like Texas high school football. And I just thought that was something cool to kind of refer back on and say, this kind of built him to who he is and the man that he is, and continue to progress him in the position that he's at for Army.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He represents Abernathy at the highest level. we could be here, Chance, all night long if we went down every honor, every award that he garnered this year. Weekly watch lists and awards and quarterbacks of the week and players of the week and conference stuff and national stuff.
Yep.
He did it all, and it'll be interesting to see, Chance, what his future holds in football if he wants it to.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like for him. I don't know where his head is in that space. Definitely if he wanted to attempt to play football at the next level, he probably could.
There's an outsider's chance for sure.
But I don't know what his plans are, and we'll all eagerly wait to see what he does. But yeah, I mean, he could be an NFL ball player if he so chose to. Absolutely.
If he so chose to, and if not, I'm sure he does have a commitment to the Army that he'll probably follow through to. There's some talks, on the draft boards and saying that there's a possibility he goes undrafted, very, very late round. And the likes of like a Taysom Hill, who plays for the Saints, if y'all don't know who that is, but he's kind of like a Swiss Army knife, kind of to use that as a being a Black Knight and Army soldier, but he could be that. He may not be as quick as Taysom, but it's one of those things where if he wanted to, he probably could. But the only thing I know, just kind of looking up before our show, I did notice that the only thing we know about Bryson is he's in the market for a new truck. So
thanks
if somebody
to Twitter
thanks to Twitter or X
or whatever you want to call
he
it,
did post that. He doesn't post a lot. Most of the time, it's accolades for his team, kind of representing Army and things like that. He doesn't post about himself a lot, but I thought it was funny that he recently posted in the market for a new truck. If anybody can point me in the right direction,
I need to go on there and tag Austin Full again with the
There
South
you go.
Plains Auto Ranch in Abernathy.
Can
Proud
we get
sponsor of
Bryson-
Outside the Box.
There we go. So
Oh man, but yeah. So if you know of a good truck, message Bryson.
yeah,
Who
there you
knows?
go. There you go.
Maybe you can
So,
sell it to the reigning Army quarterback.
there
So,
you go. One of the most
absolutely.
decorated ones of all time for sure, Ty.
Well, as we kind of wrap things up, Chance, and kind of go off the air and reset, we'll be back in about 15 minutes with Lady Lope and Antelope basketball. Our next Outside the Box next Friday, January 17th, prior to those Abernathy and New Deal basketball games, right back here on location at the Antelope Gym. As always, let us know all the news you have. We don't know everything. we might act like we do, but we don't. And we'd love to highlight it here on Outside the Box. And then, Chance, we've got some exciting basketball tonight and moving forward as well.
We do. We have some exciting basketball tonight. As you said, we have some games against Tahoka, and then catch us again on Friday. We hopefully we'll be able to broadcast from Floydada. The cell reception there is a little spotty, but hopefully we're able to broadcast from Floydada as well on Friday. And then just a couple last-minute reminders. Always, what is it, Little Dribblers starts Saturday. So if y'all want to come watch some of those little second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth graders.
All those games are here in Abernathy at this gym, as well as the
practice gym and the high school gym.
And the high school gym, yep.
So if y'all want to come support some little Dribblers basketball and support those little Abernathy kiddos, do that as well. And then one final plug, Little League baseball signups are still going on. They'll be going on until the end of the month. And so if you got a Little League kiddo, try to get them signed up as well.
As always, Chance, thanks for tuning us in on Outside the Box. We'll be here each week prior to Abernathy basketball home games.
Yep.
Until then, good night.
God bless.